Hey, Sean Lennon, we're at the southwest side of Chicago, and we are at the Chicago Fight Team Gym. It's home to many great fighters, and none other than Louis Taylor is joining me to my left, sitting down.
How you doing, Sean?
Good, how you doing?
Good, good.
He's fighting, of course, in the middleweight tournament, the finale at PFL Championship tournament, and it's going to be, of course, New Year's Eve, December 31st. Abus Magomedov is going to be opposite the cage for him. $1 million is on the line. And not only that, but the chance to be the middleweight champion of the promotion Professional Fighter League.
For the 2018 middleweight champion.
Yes.
2019, there'll be a new one.
Right.
For 2018, that'll be mine. We're bringing it right home to Chicago.
Yeah, of course, it resets every year.
Yes.
Yeah. But first thing right off the bat, man, $1 million, like, that's such a great thing. Oh, everyone's like, oh, wow, you're just so deserving of it, and you've done so much. But in the back of your head, do you ever think, like, this should have been mine all along? All the years and all the effort I put into this, like, I should have been more than $1 million. I should have been multiple millionaire.
I definitely appreciate you bringing that up. That's the first time someone has. Yeah, I mean, I've been an 11-year pro. And finally, I'm getting the light that I need to make the kind of money that I want to make. I've always, wanted to make. People say they get into fighting for the love of fighting, but to be honest, we all love to fight a little bit, but we all like to get paid a little bit more. And finally, I'm in a position to get paid and to just be able to support my family the way I should, not fight to fight, check to check, with a little, cushion in between fights.
Sure. That makes sense. And then talk about your opponent, Abus Magomedov. I mean, he's a tough guy. Anything that you have to be worried about in the cage, and being a veteran as yourself, stuff that you're working on, and new tricks and stuff like that.
I mean, the thing is, he's a well-rounded fighter, and there's nothing that brings the fight out of me like having an opponent that is ready for me. So you'll see the better the opponent, the better I will be that night. So for all of those people who that's why you always count me as an underdog, and I'm always making you upset, because I'm going to always show up and step out and show out.
Definitely. And then talk about the fact that you're facing a younger guy. You're 39 years old. He's about 11 years younger than you. To you, that doesn't matter, of course, but the fact that people might be counting you out again because he's a younger dude and he's got some hype behind him.
Like I said, I'm from Chicago, the home of R. Kelly and Aaliyah, and age ain't nothing but a number.
Sure.
And he going down.
Definitely. Talk about, like, the year you've had, man. 4 fights so far.
Yeah.
You're on a roll. This is something that you envisioned all along, once you were able to get the opportunity to compete at a regular basis, because for a while we didn't see you in action.
Yeah, I set out, it's been a year before but from July to this July when this PFL season started for the middleweights. But when I started this tournament, I definitely 100% envisioned myself making it to the finals. And anything less than being in this position would have been a disappointment to myself. From here, I don't really care. I'm not saying I don't care, but I want that title. I want that $1 million. But making it here, being the person who's in the finals, that was my ultimate goal. Because the rest of the fight, a lot of people, when you try to have a dream, if you don't make it to step 1 and then you make it to step 2, you might get to step 6, 7, or 8, but if you got to go step by step. And so this tournament, this pace, each fight was the most important fight, because any fight that I would have lost would have killed my momentum and killed my chances of being in this place right here. So that was the most important thing, was to secure each bag along the way and not just dream about the money.
Right. And then talk about also that you felt you were vocal about the promotion. They didn't put you on the main card to begin with, and you were on the prelims. And, you're a big name from Chicago. I mean, I think you're right up there with Ricardo Lamas, Clay Guida, Curtis Blades, and the other big UFC names. You're right there, and you've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, it goes without saying. People always say, why not, or why this? But if a promotion doesn't promote their fighters, then who will,
Right.
The media's not going to promote it unless the promotion gets behind them. And when money gets behind any fighter, that fighter automatically generates more money for himself in more notoriety for the promotion. But I've earned it. I've shaken hands with everybody at the PFL now, and they appreciate the value that I bring, and now I'm glad to finally rock my PFL shirt proudly.
Excellent, yeah. So for a while you weren't displaying the brand.
No, it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, you know,
Right.
I always rep the brand.
Okay.
I always rep the brand, but coming from other promotions
Sure.
like the WSOF, where you know you're in these promotions and you're about that, but if they're not about you, then it's like, oh, you ain't rocking with me, well, I ain't rocking with you. And I know when people aren't really behind me, when you hear these people do interviews and they always, who's gonna win? Louis Taylor or the other guy? The other guy. The other guy. The other guy. And that's where it's always been. It wasn't until right now where people go, you know what? I've been saying for the last 3 years that Louis is gonna lose, and he keeps proving me wrong. I better stop saying that he's gonna. I'm just gonna ride with him, and we'll see how this goes. And I appreciate that. I had to. You know, anybody who's rooting for me, it wasn't just because a speculation. They see the type of fighter I am. They see the type of fight I bring. And I might not be the most technical looking, the most best wrestler, the best jiu-jitsu, the best striker, but I put it together well, and I bring strength, power, athleticism, and I hurt people, and that keeps me in a winning column.
Definitely. And then talk about what you're looking to display
right now
on December 31st.
December 31st, I'm just looking to get my hand raised. This kid can wrestle, this kid can strike, this kid's creative. So I'm not looking at anything. I'm looking to shut him down and impose my will and bring a fresh PFL title home to Chicago.
Excellent. Yeah, we hope you get the opportunity to do that. And how about being also African American in the sport of mixed martial arts and representing your community? You know, being a role model and striving to be a positive a force in the community.
Yeah, when I started this journey, I definitely put my Southside community, especially Inglewood is where I'm from, 64th and Damon. That's why you'll see me tagging 064. It's for all those in that 6400 community, which is an impoverished community. But it's about choices to get out, choices to do better, choices to disassociate myself with people who aren't beneficiary, to say it the best way. If you're not beneficial to me and I'm not beneficial to you, then we might have grew up together, but if it's not gonna, I mean, I love you, but I'm moving on. And that's what this PFL thing is doing. I'm gonna move on, and I'm gonna move on in a positive light. Those who wanna move with me, there's space. There's room in the bandwagon. Jump, we're going. I don't know where we're gonna go, but when you take positive people who are all beneficial to each other, all moving towards a positive cause, then there's nothing but good and nothing that's gonna better everybody who's a part of it. So my biggest thing about this is putting myself in a position where people believe in me and people trust me, that when I say we're going right and we're going left, they get behind me. And when everybody's behind it, it doesn't matter. You see the push that Conor McGregor gets. He's not the best fighter by far, but he gets such a push from Ireland and the Irish community that people believe he's the best. People get behind him. They go and they pay to see his fights. They don't, and that's the push that put him where he's at. It wasn't necessarily his skills. It was the push of the Irish people behind him that got him where he's at. And when people are behind you, and people know that people are behind you, then they'll pay to watch you because they know that you're somebody to see.
Definitely. And then I want to also ask you about what do you think of the fight between Tyron Woodley and Colby Covington? You feel like that this is going to incite like a lot of racial tension with this fight between these two, and give us your insight on that one.
I think Colby Covington's a joke. He's a pure wrestler with a lot of pressure. Woodley is a wrestler with pressure in hands, in power, in speed. And I feel like Covington's going to get hurt and he's going to get finished. I don't think he's going to be able to impose his will on Woodley. I think all of the talk and stuff, those guys have been training partners. That's all hoopla. Right. Covington's trying to do the Conor McGregor thing. But at the end of the day, I'll be glad to watch Woodley whoop his butt.
Right, and you've actually gotten up to River Sport and seen Woodley
a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not like best, we're not like best friends, but we're definitely aware of each other's life. But I definitely always root on all the Rufus Sport guys. That's like a second home. I'm like a stepchild. No.
Yeah, and also talk about your Bilal Muhammad. You know, he's got a big fight coming up. Jeff Neal, of course, and ESPN Plus, the very first event.
Very first ESPN event. Bilal Muhammad. We're gonna go from New York, December 31st. Then we're coming back January 19th. New York's been hard on us, but we've turned the tides there.
Right.
We come off victories there, and we're going back now. We're gonna make it 3 in a row in New York, and it's just a stepping stone. And this guy, you know, he's coming off the Ultimate Fighter, and Bilal's not the gateway guy for him to see. So hopefully we get in there, we get the finish, and we go home, we celebrate. We go to the Bahamas somewhere, trip on you, Bilal, and we move on.
Nice. Sounds like a good plan, of course. And everything he's done and accomplished, and he's also stood for the community as well. He's come from here. He's come from the South Side.
He comes from the South Side, and there's a lot going on in Palestine right now. The Gaza Strip's being bombed as we speak. There's fires in California and there's fires in Gaza, and we need to put both of them out.
Definitely. Do you ever feel like, man, some of these issues could be settled in the cage rather than, you know, on the street with all the gun violence going down, especially in Chicago? I mean, it's like we're like the #1 murder capital in the world.
We're not.
Close to it.
No, we're not even close.
Okay.
But that's what the media wants everybody to believe, that Chicago's that bad. But when you do the numbers per 100,000 per numbers on the capita, we're not even close. We're not even in the top 10. But people are so used to the worst of the worst, little kids being killed here. That's where we make the news. And unfortunately, even this past weekend, we had a heroic security guard get killed by a police officer violence. And I think that, man, my friends were the ones being shot at in that club. And he came in and helped. And unfortunately, a hot-triggered officer took his life. Not saying that, you know, the situation's been reported on a microphone. They need to do a better job of clarifying situations, so when they see a black man holding a gun, they just don't shoot. Police officers need to convey instructions. I don't know, wherever happened to freeze, show your hands, drop the gun. Those are out the window now. It's pow. You know, it's all about put the guns down, not just for us, for the police community and themselves. Look at other countries, Australia, Japan, their gun violence is way low. Police officers don't even use guns. But America's never going to take the guns away, and you'll get killed just like Gaddafi did, trying to say take the dollar away. If you ever mention take the guns away from America.
Definitely, and that's been your moniker for a while. Put the guns down till you're really handgun Taylor.
Yeah,
but recently with what's going on.
My name started with handguns, but now that's where I started. But some people aren't that smart. But it's all about nonviolence. It's about using your hands over using alternative weapons. A fight is a fight. If you got animosity or beef, and I know it happens every day, driving, passing, Facebook, I'll open my gym to you if you want to throw hands. Keep it civil. No one has to lose their life over simple beefs. And the problem is, in the community, so many people are scared to get knocked out. It's a fear. It's scared to get punched in the face. It's a fear. So you'd rather grab a gun to show that you're not scared. You'd rather take yourself away from your family. You'd rather miss shooting your target and hit a random kid instead of just go fight that man one-on-one. And at the end of the day, the Chicago community it has historic roots in gang violence, but it's been raised on fear. And I think that if you take that fear away from using your hands, then you'll really take a lot of these killings away. These people they're so scared to fight that they always go to a weapon.
Definitely, I agree with you. Talk about some of the things you do for recovery after the long training camp. Anything that you like to do?
Oh man, I've been out at the South Loop. They've been helping me.
Okay.
South Loop therapy, but we've been fighting every 4 or 5 weeks. So the pace of PFL is no recovery. You take your boo-boos and you keep on going. As they say, you take that licking and keep on ticking. So the only thing I can do is throw some ice in a tub and keep it moving.
And nothing that's bothering you right now? Any injuries?
No, I'm 100%. And if I wasn't, I'm still not gonna say anything.
Right.
But I'm 100%, and that's every fighter. In this journey of being a fighter, we're used to being injured. We're used to. The thing is, we learn to. If you really want something, you have to overcome. And there's always going to be something to overcome. So if you're looking at a fight and thinking that guy in the cage got in there with no problems and everything in his life was fine, then you don't know fighting. You don't know. They have to fight life, then they have to fight someone in the cage. It's a part of life. So learn to overcome your adversity just like we have to do every day we step in that cage.
Definitely. And then also talk about the fact that if you do win this fight, you said that this might be your final time in the cage, that we won't see you again. Is that a possibility or no?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I doubt it.
I thought you might have said that in an earlier interview.
No.
Okay.
It'll, if you're winning it, it gives me the ability to retire.
Sure.
But it doesn't make me want to retire.
Okay.
But I want to put myself in a position where I have space so I can choose when I'm ready to fight, etc. And like you say, having money in a bank account allows you to say, yo, I want to fight in 3 months. I want to fight in 4 months.
Right.
You know, right now I have to fight whenever someone says fight. And that's fine, because if you're going to pay me, I'm going to do it. And if you're going to pay me after I win $1 million, I'm going to do it. Just make the money right.
Definitely. What do you like promotions like ONE FC? We get to see Eddie Alvarez, Demetrius Johnson. They're making a big play, as free agents, and they're getting paid what they think they deserve and the recognition. Like, is that in your mind, getting a big payday going overseas like that?
I mean, I wanted to start my career in overseas a long time ago. I saw from my friends, people like Pride in the Pride days, people like Rampage, and I love the Asian market, the Asian culture. I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan. There's posters on the wall right here. So for me, having a chance to go showcase what I do, where I consider one of the homes of martial artistry, whatever you want to call it. It might be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now, but it was Jiu-Jitsu at the beginning. And the Asians have always respected martial arts in different forms. So I always wanted to go over there just to show my homage of growing up watching Kung Fu Saturday and having a chance to just embrace my Asian fans and to make Asian fans.
Definitely. And you feel like, you definitely have a following over there. That's where I'm going.
If I don't have it, I want to get it.
Sure.
And I just want to, it's just like one of those things, every fighter has a journey. And if your journey isn't to fight in that Asian market, then I don't know what you're doing it for, because I mean, maybe I'm just too old for some of these young whippersnappers, but I'm 39. So for me, I grew up watching karate, and when I watched it on TV, there was Asians doing it. There was Chinese and Japanese. And then even nowadays, there's, the people over in Thailand. And so, of course, I want to go over there and showcase just to show them, I respect what you created.
Awesome.
And I'm a part of it.
Yeah, and then also talk like we have Risen. Floyd Mayweather was linked to a fight.
For a second.
Yeah, Tenshin Kusurawa. I mean, that's an opportunity for you, you think, in the future?
I don't know, because a lot of but at the same time, as much as I like them, they don't necessarily like everybody over here.
Right.
They're looking for a select few handful of fighters to pull. They're not looking for everybody. They want to keep their promotions predominantly Asian, which I can respect. But like I said, if I ever get the chance to go over there and showcase my thing, I'm down.
Definitely. And you never know, maybe in the future, UFC has a spot for you. The last minute or something like that.
I don't want no last minute.
No, you don't want last minute, right?
I don't want last minute. I want the chance I've earned. I want the chance for a full camp. I want the chance to get the right promotion. I want the chance to be respected just like everybody else. I don't want a 10-second, we got to fight Thursday.
Right.
Here we go. Take it or leave it. It's disrespectful. The 185 division is not that tough in the UFC right now. It's super thin, so they need 185ers. So stop acting like you don't want me. You need me.
And you feel like you got a raw deal that last time.
Yeah, very much so, a raw deal. And they're super thin right now. Look how many times the 85ers have to fight right now. They're back to back to back.
That's true.
And they all recycle the same fighters over and over. They quickly bringing in new fighters. The new fighters are all like your 2 fights in the UFC right now. You're already in the top 10. That's how thin it is right now.
Wow.
The Anderson Silva days are gone.
Yeah.
So they can use depth, and I am depth. So I would love to be there in the showcase, but don't get it twisted. PFL's where it's at.
Right, for sure, man. Talk about like the main event between Whitaker, I guess. Who do you have?
Again, you got a 170 moving up to 185. Whitaker is a durable beast. I was there in Chicago to watch him and Romero. That was an absolute war. Whitaker, I'll never put anything past him until he runs into me. Then he's gonna lose.
Right, I got you.
But Gastelum is tough, man. Yeah. Gastelum is tough. You just never know what he's gonna bring. He's one of those people I don't want to bet against, because when you bet against him, he'll prove you wrong.
Sure. Talk about the New Year's Eve plans, man. Do you have any after the fight?
I don't have any major New Year's Eve plans, but no matter what, they will involve cheesecake.
Okay, sounds good. But hopefully see you ring in the new year with a big victory. Talk about how do you visualize this? Like in your head, how do you see it playing out?
I see him as a long-rangey fighter, and I'm gonna do what I have to do to defeat him. I really don't want to go 5 rounds in New York again. I did that before. It makes walking around a problem. So I would like to get him out of there as early as possible.
Excellent. Well, Louis Taylor, it is a pleasure again to have you on the fight board. Thanks for having us. Chicago Fight Team. Check it out. How can everybody get in contact with you?
I got Facebook, but if you really want to talk to me, check me out on Instagram. Just Google Louis Taylor, Louis Taylor. Put the guns down, Taylor. You'll see some hot guy with his shirt off. Look for him.
And then anyone you'd like to thank?
I would like to thank Roberto Ramirez for always being in my corner, Bilal Muhammad for being one of my top training partners, Nicasio Sanchez, my mama, of course, because she birthed me, my wife, because she feeds me, my kids, because they keep me motivated, and Sean for the interview.
Oh, no
Thanks
problem.
again.
Anytime. Louis, put the guns down, Taylor, of course. Best of luck. New Year's Eve, December 31st. Hulu Theater will be taking place. The Middleweight Championship final, of course, for PFL.
Yes,
2018. And you fight Abus Magomedov.
Yes, sir. Hey, don't tell Aaron Rodgers I'm doing it.
Uh-oh.
This ain't the discount double check. This is me putting on my belt.
Nice. Sounds good, brother. Take care.
Yes, sir.